Welcome back to brand new brand review, and today we're going to be reviewing the Sprite redesign. Just a heads up, at the end of the video I'll be doing my take on the Sprite logo and redesigning it, so stick around if you want to see my version. So on the left side we have the original logo, and on the right we have the redesigned, rebranded version. And today I want to rate it on these metrics: versatile, simple, appropriate, timeless, and memorable. And we'll just have a look at the overall brand, how they positioned it, how they showed it off. So for starters, I just want us to be familiar with the Sprite brand. Now here's just a different combination of their marketing material, their packages, the logo, how it's been positioned, so you can just kind of get a feel and a vibe for Sprite if you haven't been familiar with it for some reason. And the first thing I want to talk about is the actual logo type itself. So very beautiful right off the bat. I think it's a great move to remove that outline shape around the logo. I think it looks a lot cleaner, it flows a lot better this way. I love the tilt. I love the way that they have this wave going through the R, I, and T with the circle cut out. I think it's beautiful. There are certain little things that I would change, which I'll show you towards the end, but right away what I would do is kind of thicken these points on the E and the P, and that's probably like the only thing that I'm not vibing with this mark, and I'll show you an example of why that is in a second. As we scroll down a little more here, I have screenshotted the key elements that make up the brand, and as I've said, I really love the type. I think it was a good move to separate this from the logo type. Now the type can really shine and speak for itself, and then we have this usable mark elsewhere, which is where some of that versatility comes in. If you don't have room to spell out Sprite everywhere, you can just take this little mark, this starburst, this kind of flavor bubble burst, and use it elsewhere. I love how they use color. They use their primary color very well, the green. It's a very nice, approachable color. And then we have just bursts of black and white and yellow when we need to. So I really like the way that the color is very simple, and they can use the black for sugar-free and then the white for regular flavor. Alrighty, let's have a look at a few other things here. So here we have an example of the logo being used on the different colors. Like I said, the colors work really well together. It works on black, black works on green, white works on both black and green, so very nice there. The logo mark also looks really well, and it works in all these colors. And like I said, I think I prefer it filled in. Next, if we look at the packaging, I like the packaging. It's very simple, very approachable. I've seen the new packaging in the store and it caught my eye and it stood out apart from the competition just because it's very clean. We have nice green color with these white or black accents, so really well done on the packaging. I really love how they separated this mark and just put it on the cap. I think that's very clean. Some more examples of the packaging. Again, like I mentioned, the white really pops off. The black is still visible and looks really well. And I love how they're using the shape for that lemon lime, although I think they could have made the shape yellow also just to give it that color versatility as well. Here's one thing that I'm not super crazy about with this redesign, and it's this font here. I don't think this is a font that they custom designed. I think they just took a font that matched their logo type and their new brand. But to me, it's a little too sharp, a little too kind of playful and crazy. I think they need a bolder font to use as like their primary marketing font. And also these mock-ups here, it doesn't really look like a drink brand. I think they stripped too much away. There's just like these squares and it's all like cropped nicely. It looks a little bit more fashion focused. I don't know, for me it just looks like these mock-ups weren't done super well or explored, and they could have done more with the shape, which I'm going to show you soon. But let's move on and look at a few other things here. So another example of the type. Everything here I love except for this random image. I would assume that you'd want like a picture of somebody drinking or some other kind of lifestyle shoot, but we have a guy take off his shirt. Okay, that's fine. And then again, just like the type, I'm not really vibing with it. They could have done something a little more interesting with the type here, but I love these like bubbles, and all this just looks beautiful. And then we just want to see the progression. So originally 1961 to 2022, here's the progression, and I think along the way we've seen this multiple times. Even back here they have this kind of connection from the I to the T. In this older logo we have that, and it kind of just flows through the mark subtly, and this is when they bring in that shape, this shape back. But overall I do think this is a step forward. Brands keep getting debranded, keep getting more simple, and I think Sprite has achieved this without losing too much. Like they didn't just take up your basic font and type it Sprite. It still has character, it still has movement and motion. It's still a very unique type, and I'm not gonna forget it very soon. Now that we've gone through the marketing material, the logo, the new reveal, Let's rate this logo from 1 to 5 using these metrics: versatility, simplicity, appropriate, timeless, and memorable. Starting with versatility, I think the logo and the brand is versatile. You can see this mark being used in different places. You can see how we can use the new colors, the new packaging to represent sugar-free or regular. Simplicity, I think it is very simple. They've stripped down the boxes. They've made it very modern, very simple. We just have this solid color on the packaging, so I think that one scores. Let me just update these really quickly as we go along. Then we have appropriate. Is it appropriate? I think it is appropriate with certain little issues. The only issue I think I see here is the type itself. It just doesn't match. It's too fancy, too luxury for me. So for appropriate, I'll put yes, just because the packaging and the rest of the brand does match a drink company. Now looking at timeless, I think it is timeless. Like I mentioned before, brands keep reducing and simplifying their brand. And if you look at the packaging, it is very simple. It works really well. And I don't see a reason why they would need to change it besides some of this kind of marketing imagery and material. And finally, memorable. Is it memorable? I think everybody would say yes, just because the mark is so simple. It's this kind of blowing up bubble of flavor. And then the type itself is very simple and memorable because of that little curve and dot next to the eye, so it gives you this thing to remember it by. So I think it is memorable. I would say 5 out of 5 for this one, with a few small little exceptions. Now let me just do my take on this, and I'll show you what I would have done. So this would be my take on the new rebrand. So on the left, we can see the original, what they did. On the right is my version. And the only thing I did really is just make the E, these 2 points here, and the P a little bit thicker, just to match kind of what's happening in the T with these areas. I just felt like that was a little thin and kind of throwing me off. So to me, the one on the right looks a lot more put together. Let me know your thoughts if you agree or disagree. Here's how it looks side by side. And then for the kind of poster itself, I'm not really too crazy about the fonts. I couldn't really find anything on the spot that looked good, but just something a little bit more bolder, less of that sharp kind of fancy font. And then using this shape more interestingly. So I think they could have done this a little bit more in the marketing, where they took the splash of flavor and used it to mask images, mask people, something interesting like that. But that would be my take, the only thing that I would add to this rebrand. Besides that, I think it's a solid hit with a few little issues or details, but overall very good rebrand, and I'm very happy with this. Thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this review and you want to see more like it, please drop a like, drop a comment of what brand you want me to do next, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.